What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the show. So Jim Jordan, Representative Jordan, wants another vote. So we're going to have another vote. And I just wanted to post this video really quickly and see what's going on Twitter. But this is crazy because I think he should just the big talk. And actually, we'll talk about the other option. We'll talk about that later. But he's not doing any better when it comes to votes. And the only thing that I can think of is that he's made some deals behind closed doors, some more deals where he thinks that the vote count will go in his favor now. So he'll have more because the vote count went against him. So the first vote, he got 200 votes. The second vote, you had some kind of shuffling. Some people who supported him stopped supporting him. Some people who didn't support him started to support him. But he dropped a overall number. So the net gain, he didn't have a net gain at all. He had a net loss. So it was 199. That was the second vote. So now we're going into the third vote. So I would think that he assumes that he's going to get more votes. And so more than 200 votes. And so he's thinking, okay, well, if I go ahead and do this and it shows that now I'm at 205 people support me, then, and I'm just throwing that number out, then he's thinking that momentum will take him into the speakership. But very, very interesting just to look at this whole situation and how this is playing out. And it's at this point, if this next vote doesn't go anywhere, then I would assume that at this point, he would go ahead and say, okay, we need to do something else. And so you see on Twitter, everyone is talking about this. It's time to fire Rhino. So and you have a lot of angry Republicans. This whole situation is really, really dividing the Republican Party. And you're seeing this. And they were even at the very top here. They were showing, I'm not going to play the audio here, but you have some Republicans that are calling Republican Congress people saying you need to vote for Jim Jordan, but they're threatening family members and things like that, which is just uncalled for under any circumstance. That should never happen. And so this is really, really dividing a lot of people. And you can see just going through all the different tweets here, you can see that people are very upset. And I'm moving relatively fast because some of the language is really vulgar. So you guys get the gist of things when it comes down to it. But yeah, we'll have to see if he moves forward after this. I would think if he loses a third time that he would at least put a pause on this. And so the second option, and they talked about this yesterday, the second option would be to have an interim speaker. Okay, so Speaker Pro Tem McHenry, have him as the interim speaker for 80 days, around 80 days, basically to end out the year. So in January, they can vote again for a speaker. And so that would give Representative Jordan some time to kind of, talk to people and really make different concessions, because that's basically what it's going to come down to. Make some concessions and try to see if he can get the number that he needs, 217 votes, so he can become speaker. And so that would be the next option. And Representative Jordan, he's agreed to this. He says, you know what, he's okay with that. But you do have some Republicans that are still not for that. They don't want to have an interim speaker. They want a speaker now.
I do not support this plan. Republican voters worked too hard to give us the majority for us to enter some sort of temporary speakership. Our conference has a responsibility to the American people, to our districts, to work together and unify. And this conference is absolutely broken. And the reason why we're broken is because Republicans worked with Democrats and put us here. It's outrageous. We have serious issues happening in our country. Terrorists have come across our border. War is breaking out in Israel. War is continuing in Ukraine. The economy is getting worse and worse, and inflation is crushing everyone's ability to afford to live. This is the most disappointing thing, and it has to change.
Are you disappointed to see Mr. Jordan supporting this idea?
Yeah, absolutely. We voted for him to be our speaker nominee. We only had 2 votes. I wanted to see it keep going today and find a way to work with the holdouts to get together so that we can continue doing our work. And I don't know why this is happening, so I'm very disappointed.
Did Mr. Jordan present the plan today, and will there not be a vote on his speaker?
He wants to move with a resolution to empower Patrick McHenry as some sort of a short-term speaker. I think that's the wrong thing to do. He wants to do that while he continues talking to people and finding a path. I completely disagree. I think that we should all be able to find a path in that room right there, and that requires putting the egos down. It requires humility. It requires the 8 Republicans that work with Democrats to put us here asking for forgiveness in the conference, and people giving forgiveness and us moving forward. This is not a plan for a strong majority.
No speaker vote today?
It's a resolution.
What's wrong with it as a temporary solution, though? What's wrong with just giving McHenry temporary more power just to get back in business?
I just stated all of that. I just stated it. It's just not the right thing
So
to
the
do.
resolution vote will be today?
Supposedly, yeah.
And so what that means is Democrats are going to have to come on board if we're going to do this 80 days of a temporary speaker. And so in essence, give McHenry the power to be speaker for 80 days. And so Democrats are going to have to come on board. But guess what? If Democrats come on board, Democrats are going to want concessions. And so Democrats get concessions, and then you'll have Republicans that come on board that are in favor of this 80 days of a temporary speaker. And so you're going to have kind of a coalition government, if you want to look at it that way. Although I don't really think Democrats I don't know what their concessions will be, but when it comes down to it, there's a deadline that we need to meet. And that deadline is November 17th, because if we don't do anything on November 17th, we're going to have a government shutdown. And so that deadline means that Democrats, they can have concessions, but if let's just say that Republicans don't agree to the concessions that Democrats have for this 80-day temporary speaker, well, Democrats are probably they're going to have to come on board anyway, or we're going to be looking at a government shutdown. And some lawmakers, I think there's some lawmakers out there that want a government shutdown, just like they wanted it before. I think they want it now, and this would give them that perfect opportunity, because they can just say, okay, we're not going to move forward with this temporary speaker. We're not going to get anything done. We're not going to vote on any appropriations bills. And so guess what? We're going to be looking at a government shutdown. And then the worst part about it is we won't have a speaker in order to get out of a government shutdown. So we'll be in a government shutdown, and we won't have a speaker to call any bills to the floor so you can get out of this government shutdown. So it would be a complete, I mean, it's a disaster now. It's chaotic right now, but it would be a complete disaster if we get to November 17th, we go on a government shutdown, and we still don't have a speaker, and we don't have anyone temporarily there to do the business of the people. So I want to know what you guys think about all this, but I was very shocked to hear that Representative Jordan wants to run again for a 3rd time. Obviously, he knows something, or I would think that he knows something. If the numbers come out and they're even worse, then he's just wasting our time. He really is, because if we get to that situation where you had 200 votes and then it went down to 199 and then it goes down even lower, then it's just like, what are you doing? You're just wasting time. You need to just step down and just move forward with a temporary speaker if that's the only option, because no one else is stepping up. No one else is stepping up and saying they want to be speaker. So it's up to Jordan to say, okay, you know what? I'm going to step down and let's move to the other option. I want to know what you guys think down below. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe for more, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye.